Think every Hollywood star looks flawless? Think again. Beneath the glitter and glow of fame lies a world where beauty isn't always conventional. And that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Some of the biggest names in showbiz broke every beauty standard and still became icons. This video will reveal the most unusual-looking celebrities who turned their so-called flaws into fame, transformed weird into wow, and proved that true star power shines far beyond perfection. Michael Jackson, the man who changed not only his face but the entire world of music. Before the scandals and headlines, there was pure magic. Michael wasn't just a pop star. He was a global phenomenon. From the bright-eyed prodigy of the Jackson 5 to the legend who turned music videos into cinematic art, Jackson embodied fame itself. Yet beneath the sequin glove and moonwalk, his life told a story of loneliness, transformation, and struggle. By the mid-1980s, fans began noticing dramatic changes. His skin grew lighter, his nose slimmer, his face more sculpted. Whispers of endless surgeries spread like wildfire. Some said he was chasing perfection. Others thought he was trying to escape his reflection. Years later, Michael revealed he suffered from vitiligo, a real skin disorder that caused the lightening of his complexion, a fact often drowned out by media mockery and cruel speculation. Still, his artistry never faltered. Thriller Billie Jean beat. Yet these weren't just hits. They were revolutions in sound and vision. He broke barriers of race, genre, and performance, forever reshaping the pop landscape. Yet the cost of that brilliance was immense. Fame demanded youth, beauty, and flawlessness, and it devoured him from within. Michael Jackson's story remains both luminous and tragic, a reminder that even the brightest stars can burn themselves out. He gave the world his voice, his moves, his soul, and ultimately his very identity. His music still lives on inspiring new generations, proving that while the man may be gone, the magic will never fade. Jocelyn Wildenstein, the billion-dollar Catwoman. They say money can buy anything, but Jocelyn proved it can't buy peace, youth, or love. Once a glamorous Swiss socialite married to billionaire art dealer Alec Wildenstein, she lived a life draped in diamonds, private jets, and Parisian couture. Yet behind the glitz was deep insecurity and fear of abandonment. Terrified of losing her husband's affection, Jocelyn turned to cosmetic surgery not once but countless times. What began as subtle enhancement soon became one of the most infamous makeovers in modern history. Her face transformed dramatically high, tight cheeks, wide eyes, and feline-like features that stunned the world. The media nicknamed her the Bride of Wildenstein, the Lion Queen, and most enduringly, the Catwoman. Some claimed she altered her face to resemble the big cats her husband adored. Others saw it as a desperate attempt to freeze time and hold on to fading beauty. Reportedly spending over $4 million on procedures, Jocelyn's transformation turned her into a global symbol of excess and obsession. But beyond the tabloid headlines lies a woman shaped by heartbreak, wealth, and the relentless pressure to remain desirable in a world that worships youth. Today, in her 80s, Jocelyn lives quietly in New York. She's largely withdrawn from the spotlight, still maintaining her signature look, and insisting she's never been addicted to surgery. Her story remains a haunting reflection of how love, insecurity, and privilege can twist together in the pursuit of perfection. Donatella Versace, the queen who rebuilt an empire one bold step and surgery at a time. When you hear Versace, you think of gold luxury and unapologetic glamour. At the center of that shimmering world stands Donatella, a woman who transformed personal tragedy into unstoppable power. Born in Italy in 1955, she was always the daring one. Platinum blonde hair, smoky eyes, and a presence that could silence a room. But when her brother, the iconic Gianni Versace, was murdered in 1997, Donatella didn't just inherit a fashion house, she inherited an empire under siege. As the years passed, her appearance changed dramatically. Taut skin, plumped lips, sculpted cheekbones, features that became both her armor and her trademark. While tabloids mocked her as a plastic disaster, or the Catwoman of couture, Donatella never flinched. Instead, she poured her energy into reviving the Versace legacy, dressing pop culture royalty like Jennifer Lopez, Beyoncé, and Lady Gaga. That unforgettable green jungle dress J.Lo wore to the Grammys, Donatella's masterpiece, a moment that changed fashion forever. Behind her icy expression lies a woman who has battled grief addiction and relentless scrutiny. Yet through it all, she remains a symbol of reinvention and endurance. Today, in her late 60s, Donatella still leads Versace with fiery determination, proving that power and identity aren't defined by perfection. Donatella Versace didn't just design the brand she became. It's fearless, extravagant, and utterly unforgettable. Michael Berryman, the man who turned fear into fame and difference into power. You've seen his face, and once you do, you never forget it. Bald, no eyebrows or hair, his skin drawn tight over sharp bone, Michael looks like he was made for horror movies. But behind that haunting image lies one of Hollywood's most remarkable stories of resilience. Born with a rare genetic condition called hypohidrotic ectodermal dysplasia, he grew up without sweat glands, hair, or fingernails. Doctors told his parents he might never live a normal life, but Michael never aimed for normal. Bullied and isolated as a child, he learned early to face cruelty with humor and faith. His life changed the moment he walked into an audition for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That distinctive look and his quiet strength captured Hollywood's attention. Then came The Hills Have Eyes, 1977, the film that turned him into a horror icon. But off-screen, Michael couldn't be more different. Gentle, kind, articulate, and deeply spiritual. He used his appearance not as a burden, but as his greatest asset, reminding the world that beauty comes in many forms. Over the decades, he starred in cult classics, inspired fans, and spoken openly about acceptance and perseverance. Now in his mid-70s, Michael continues to attend conventions, connect with fans, and act occasionally still full of gratitude and light. Michael Berryman didn't conquer Hollywood despite his differences. He succeeded because of them. His story is a testament that courage and authenticity outshine perfection every time. Marilyn Manson, the beautiful nightmare of rock and roll. He's the man your parents warned you about. Ghostly pale skin, venomous eyes, blood-red lips, and a voice that crawled right under your skin. Born Brian Hugh Warner, Marilyn Manson didn't just bend the rules of rock, he obliterated them. In the polished world of 1990s pop, he stood out like a demon at a Sunday service. Face-painted white eyes rimmed in black, a self-made creature of chaos. His name itself, a fusion of Marilyn Monroe's beauty and Charles Manson's infamy, told the world exactly what he was: contradiction made flesh. Behind the monstrous image, however, was a razor-sharp mind. Manson turned shock into art, anger into poetry. His performances blurred the line between theater and rebellion, giving a voice to kids who felt unseen and misunderstood. Songs like The Beautiful People and Sweet Dreams weren't just hits. They were cultural lightning bolts. Fans worshipped him, critics despised him, and politicians condemned him. But Manson never apologized. Every scandal only fed the legend. In recent years, however, that legend has been shadowed by controversy and legal battles following abuse allegations, accusations Manson has denied. Once a cultural provocateur, he now lives mostly out of the spotlight, reportedly focusing on art and family life while maintaining a small but loyal fan base. Love him or hate him, Marilyn Manson remains a dark reflection of fame itself. Proof that beauty isn't always angelic and monsters sometimes tell the most human truths. Sandra Bernhard, the wild mouth of Hollywood and the fearless voice that never went quiet. Sharp tongue, sharper mind. Sandra has always said what others were too afraid to. With her fiery curls, bold humor, and unapologetically unconventional beauty, she stormed into Hollywood in the late 70s like a hurricane of wit and truth. Born in 1955, she didn't chase fame by playing nice. She earned it by tearing through the status quo. Her stand-up was raw, political, and unfiltered, skewering celebrity culture and hypocrisy with biting precision. She wasn't the picture-perfect Hollywood starlet, but that was the point. Sandra was the rebellion. By the 1980s, she had become a cultural lightning rod, appearing in The King of Comedy, performing on talk shows and turning heads as Madonna's outspoken best friend. Her mix of sensuality, sarcasm, and social commentary made her a force impossible to ignore. She blurred lines between humor and art, confidence and vulnerability, glamour and grit. Every performance felt like a dare, and audiences couldn't look away. But Sandra wasn't chasing controversy. She was creating space for women, for queer voices, for anyone who refused to conform. Decades later, she still added. Today, she continues to perform live hosts her Sirius XM show Sandy Land and appears on TV in American Horror Story and Pose, proving her fire hasn't faded. Sandra Bernhard didn't just survive Hollywood. She conquered it on her own terms, reminding everyone that authenticity is the sharpest weapon of all. Shane MacGowan, the poet with the broken smile and the soul of Ireland itself. His grin could make you laugh, cry, or both at once. As the wild-hearted frontman of the Pogues, Shane looked like a man who had lived 1,000 stories and somehow survived them all. With his unkempt hair, missing teeth, and eyes that danced between madness and genius, he embodied the beautiful chaos of rock and Irish folklore. Born in England to Irish parents, Shane was raised on whiskey rebellion and poetry. His lyrics weren't just songs. They were living poems of love, heartbreak, and the messy, glorious struggle of being alive. His raspy voice and battered face became symbols of authenticity in a world obsessed with perfection. Songs like Fairy Tale of New York turned him into a legend, the poet of the pub, the voice of a people who laughed through pain. But decades of hard drinking and rough living left their scars. By 2008, he'd lost his final natural tooth. And in 2015, he underwent a 9-hour dental reconstruction, 8 titanium implants, and 1 gold tooth because Shane insisted on keeping his misfit charm. The surgery was chronicled in the TV documentary A Wreck Reborn, a fitting title for a man who refused to be anything but himself. Despite years of declining health, Shane continued writing and making music with his wife Victoria Mary Clark by his side. Until his passing in late 2023 at age 65, he remained a national treasure, a flawed, fearless artist whose words still echo in pubs' hearts and memories. Iggy Pop, the godfather of punk who refused to die pretty. If rock and roll had a spirit animal, it would be Iggy Wild, shirtless, untamed. The man who turned pain into art and chaos into religion. Born James Newell Osterberg Jr. in Michigan, he wasn't destined for fame or fortune, but the moment he stepped on stage with the Stooges in the late 60s, he changed music forever. He didn't just perform, he detonated. Rolling in broken glass, screaming bleeding, he turned concerts into rituals of raw emotion. His body, wiry, scarred, and unapologetically human, became the canvas for punk itself. Iggy wasn't conventionally handsome. His skin was weathered, his stare feral, but his presence was magnetic. He was pure energy, dangerous, defiant, and completely alive. Without him, punk might never have found its pulse. His influence ignited icons like David Bowie, Kurt Cobain, and the entire grunge generation. And through it all, Iggy never faked a thing. As he once said, "I'm not ashamed to look like what I've been through." That honesty, that refusal to conform became his legacy. Today, in his late 70s, Iggy Pop is still very much alive and performing. He's released acclaimed albums, dabbled in jazz-voiced animated films, and even hosts a BBC radio show, sharing his deep love for music. Still shirtless, still fearless, still the rebel philosopher of rock, Iggy Pop never chased beauty, he redefined it. In a world obsessed with filters and youth, he remains a living reminder that authenticity never ages. Then and now 2025, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos. See you in the next one.